welcome, and I'm quite happy that you decided to spend your afternoon listening a little bit what we in TAURON have to say about innovation. And it's not so easy to talk about innovation when you are a classical utility. That we do that because we see a major change coming in the energy sector. Right now it's difficult to say whether the real breakthrough will be in 3, 5, 7, 8 years. But two things are for certain. First, that the change has already started and that it will come in even bigger magnitude. And second is that when it really comes, when the real breakthrough appears, then it will change the way we live so much that when our children will look at movie set in 2017, it will be like watching Back to the Future or Top Gun for us. A little bit nostalgic, but not really modern. And you might wonder what's driving the change. Well, the main driver is the thing that we in utilities didn't understand so much not so long ago. We didn't understand it because we didn't have to. You know, from technical point of view, energy sector is very complex, but from the business perspective, it's relatively easy. Invest a pile of cash in very sophisticated equipment, operate it for 40 years, and pay a dividend to your shareholder. And then something changed, and that something has 3 letters. It's RES, it's renewables, renewable energy sources. And why it changed our world? Because historically we had this top-down system which was quite complex, well managed. There was a big power plant, energy flowing to the customer through high, low, medium voltage grid and so on. And what we get with renewables, we got a big mess. We've got a wind farm here and there, and photovoltaic panels are up on the roof. And those technologies, they do not only consume our market share, but they impose additional costs on us, because we have to pay for integration of renewables and we have to pay for balancing the system. So it's a quite painful situation for any company. And except from renewables, which are probably the first big thing, there's also big improvement in batteries, in energy storage, and there is a great development in a big data, which allows us to control and manage the systems in a very, very new way. And when those 3 combines, we will see big changes in a way we live, in a way we travel with all the e-mobility, and what's most, it will bring a major change in the way we manage our systems. And this is of course a great challenge, but I would say it's also an opportunity for us. It's how we grab the opportunity, or how we try to grab it. Well, let's start from what we have. So we have a large company. We have some 250,000 kilometers of grid, some power plants, plenty of really great engineers which are very professional in providing 5.5 million people with energy every day. And they are doing a great job, and this job will be needed for decades for you and me to have an energy at home. But to experiment with the world that is coming, to try to develop a new business next to the existing ones, we need a different profile. Somebody who loves to take experiments, somebody who loves to take risk, and I suppose you wouldn't like a risk lover to manage our power plant, because I suppose you like to watch TV when you want, not when we are successful in running the power plant. So that's how we came to the conclusion that we need to cooperate with the startupers. Young, modern people with good ideas, but outside of existing structure. And that started quite an interesting dynamic in the company, which we could call, has anybody seen a startupper? We had a lot of people sitting around the table discussing, hey, do you know any startupper? Maybe we'll call a university, they must have some startuppers. oh no, maybe we'll give an advertisement and we'll bring somebody to the company. So a lot of mess, a lot of discussions, and at some point something really bad happened. We found a startup. Be careful what you wish for. Because then I got dozens of questions. Come on, but how do you, what do we do with the credit risk if it doesn't exist for a year? And it doesn't have a 7-digit bank account, so where do we take a collateral from? And what's most important, the technical solution is not fully developed. And you can imagine that there was a lot of people saying, oh, come on, that's not our way of doing business. And probably it's best to leave it to somebody else and stick to our old world. And at this point, we came across a very interesting program designed by PARP. Congratulations, the program called Scale Up. It required the company to submit an application to get some support. And this program required us first to do something, because we had to find 2 people which were really dedicated to do the thing, prepare an application, and to find a partner, which was a great idea. So we were looking for a partner, and we came through the Tech Brainers, which we cooperate with whom we cooperate right now. And that was that program and finding a partner, that was a small breakthrough for us. Because our colleagues from Tech Brainers, they know where to find startups, because they've seen them more than a couple of times. They know how to talk to them, and what's more, they know how to talk to us. Quite important. And finally, they know how to work with startups, which we have the way that we have never experienced. And we have a quite interesting program together, which is very strict and which requires a lot of effort, but that brings results. So that was a little breakthrough for us. And when I look back at this moment, I'll tell you about the results just in a minute. Then I see 3 things that decided that we did this first step, because it's just a first step on a long way to innovation. First was a leadership and determination. If a large company doesn't have a manager who is ready to really take a risk and put its credibility on stake, then nobody will do anything risky. And starting cooperation with startups is a little bit a risky thing. Second thing, to partner with the knowledge, not to hire a consultant, but to find somebody who has the knowledge and who will stay with you until end of the process and who has the same goals as you have. Doesn't make sense to discover everything by yourself. And finally, it was really great that this program appeared, because we finally did something. We stopped discussions and we really did it, and it's moving, and it's moving quite okay. Because when the program started, we started to understand that there is much bigger change to be done in the organization than we thought before. For example, in order to communicate with the world outside, we had to skip writing 10 pages technical requirement, which exactly describes what we want, with lithium-ion batteries, 4 kilowatt hour capacity, and the rated current and average discharge current, and so on. Because, well, if we ask for it, we get it exactly, and it's not necessarily so innovative. So whole of the organization had to learn and had to define its needs in this new language, which is a functional solution. Because in fact we don't care whether it's a battery or anything else, or demand-side management. We need a solution, we need an effect. And together with Tech Brainers, we ran through all major business lines in the company, finding 2-3 people which were ready to work with innovation, which redefined our needs in terms of functional solutions. The second very important change for us and understanding was that, well, startup needs a lot of freedom and creativity, but it should deliver. So the program that we designed really requires our startuppers to deliver every week, even every day, something small, a small step that leads to the final viable product. And that was very interesting to discover that in fact you could use some corporate tools to make the process more efficient. And you're probably wondering where we are today. So we finished 3 months ago the first round of selection of the startups. We looked through more than 100 of them, and we already selected 14. And some examples. There's AGP, which has this great idea of putting graphene layers on photovoltaic panels, which increases the efficiency of the panel twice, which is a major change because normally you get a 0.5% or on 1%. If we produce it locally, it's great to store. So we have InWheel working together, the guys who designed batteries that are 1/3 of the size the one we are using right now, and what's more, which can be fully charged within less than 10 minutes. So not much longer than refueling your car, isn't it? And to make our customers happy and to be able to control your homes, there is BM3 with smart controls and smart plugs and switches who gets an information how your appliances functions or malfunctions, and let it know to your smartphone what's happening with that in real time. So it's just the beginning of the portfolio that we are building, and just the first step, but I think with interesting results. And we'll be very happy in a couple of years to propose all of that solutions to our customers. And you might leave this room thinking that that the future is for startups only. It's not, because certainly to manage energy system, the utilities is needed, and we all value security of the supply very much, and we do need a large power plants to keep the current going in the grids. But does the future belong to us, utilities? Well, in a so fast changing technology, it's really difficult to grab the opportunity. And it's so easy to be swiped out by one of those small players. But we in TAURON believe that the future is in the ecosystem, the dynamic ecosystem which allows both big utility and smaller startups to work together to thrive and to leverage on its strengths. So the companies that will be able to cooperate most efficiently in those systems are the ones that will win the future. And just our experience from the first step we did as a utility on this road is that what big companies needs is leadership and determination to lead the organization, to show the need of change, is to partner with knowledge. There is so many smart people outside that can help you grow. And third, just act on it. It's not only the truth that the startup has to be agile, but also the corporation which works with startups, they also have to be agile. Not everything has to be perfect on a first step, and it's also not perfect in TAURON, and we are changing the process, modifying it on a regular basis. But we did a first step, and I invite the startups to work with us and all the other corporations to do this first step, because this ecosystem I mentioned should be as rich in companies as possible. Thank you.